Alright people, Catfish Dave here. It's Sunday, October something, 2020 something. I don't know. Anyhow, got pretty cold last night. It's going to get even colder tonight. I'm going to experiment with the backwaters a little bit because I haven't done a lot of that yet. Typically I don't fish backwaters until number one, they're either going on the nest in the spring or I do it again in the fall, in the winter. So most of the time your big fish will be out in the channel, out in the deep water and stuff, but there are certain times of year you can get them in these backwaters. Basically, I'm in a new spot I've never fished, and the reason I'm doing this is because my fall spot's pretty much been taken. You know, I found out that if I make videos, I don't get to fish at these places, so I'm gonna start making videos at places where people don't know where they're at, and that's what this is. I've seen some skipjacks busting in here, which is a good thing. Now they're not super easy to catch yet, but skipjacks are just now starting to work into the back creeks. I caught a few over in Melton Hill Lake today, and I caught one in here before I ever got my rods out. One thing, if there are no blues moved in here yet of any size, is now that we're getting the colder nights, flatheads may be starting to feed. The bait I have is quite fresh. I usually get on a pretty good flathead bite on cut bait in the fall and early winter, as long as there are flatheads in the neighborhood. This looks to me like could be some flatheads in here. So I do have a shot at a flathead while I'm here as well. It's mainly a test to see if the blues have moved into these shallow coves yet. So I won't be staying out real late. It's a work night, but I will be staying probably a little bit after dark just to see what happens. Let's get her done. Skipjacks seem to be hitting earlier in the day. They were hitting early over at Melton Hill. You know, when I first got there, like at noon, they were immediately hitting my lures or flashing at them, and then the later it got, the less they got. Well, I was seeing some break, and I ain't seeing none break now, so maybe right before dark we'll get another little batch of a skipjack bite. I'm gonna keep my Foley spoon out just in case they do. They're working out there just a little bit. Now they busted just right there. I wish they'd stay around here for a second. They're not hitting a lure real good. Them skipjacks are out there. They're just not hardly hitting a lure right now. I've had this problem everywhere I go. Catching just a few a day, and I'm catching them earlier in the day. So I did have one follow my spoon all the way up to the bank and then turn around, but yeah, these old skipjacks have just flat out quit. Ain't nothing moving nowhere. I caught 6 today. I'm going to take the 3 biggest ones and I'm going to freeze them, because I took 3 frozen bait out of the freezer this weekend because I had a hard time getting skipjack. So that'll get me back to where I was. Just got an old channel cat bite on that one on the left. That ain't a good sign. Of course I knew they're in here. I'm hoping the big fish should be coming in here, or that's what I'm trying to see. It's probably still a week or so early. And it's also still daylight, man. Usually your big fish are gonna hit at night this time of year. I got a lot of bluegill in there. I ought to put one on a float straight out. And maybe one on the bottom to the right over here in this shallow water. Might as well, I mean, I'm here. You never know until you throw. I've got that float set about 8 foot deep. So what I've done is, I've never fished here before. I don't know where the deep and shallow meets. I casted it way out and I pulled it back until it hit that drop off going from the shallow to the deep. So the bluegill in the waist just kind of resting up against the drop, you know. I've been out here a couple hours, so I'm gonna go ahead and check my cut baits. I got some gizzard shad in there too. I may put a cut bait over here on the shallow part to the right, just in case there's a wandering nighttime flathead that'll hit a cut bait. You never know. That thing didn't hit, I bet, 2 foot of water. I mean, it didn't drop at all. I'm way off from the bank. I mean, it didn't drop at all. I mean, I know a flathead will cruise shallow. The only thing bothering me is there was a great big snapping turtle head that popped up over here. And fishing over there in 2 foot of water, I'm asking for trouble with him. Now, even though I'm not going to say where I'm at, I will say this lake is not known for a catfish lake. There are catfish in this lake. The fact that it is not fished heavily for catfish, and all 3 species in here, it's one of those lakes where you probably don't catch a lot of fish, but you got a real good chance of catching a big fish. I'm gonna hit it some, just because I need different places to fish. It's one of those adventure type deals, just to see what happens. New territory for me. That little gizzard shad head got hit already. The bonus rod over there in 2 foot of water. Gizzard shad, 2 pieces of skipjack, and a live bluegill. If that ain't got a spot covered, I don't know what does. Deep, shallow, right on the ledge. I'd say we got it covered. It's dropping down to freezing tonight. I'd say it's about 40 now. This is one of them places with the cut-off bank that I should probably have my net, but I don't. Because I'm lazy. I figure if I do get a good fish, I'll step off in the water. It's not that deep right there. grief, that's a big fish. Good grief, that's a big fish. Good grief. That's a big fish. Right when I didn't bring my net, you gotta be kidding me. This is a huge fish. Oh my goodness. Why didn't I bring my net? I'm gonna need it. Oh my goodness. This fish ain't over 40, I will kiss your butt. Oh, this is a big fish. This is a big fish. Big fish, big fish, big fish. Looks like I'm getting in the water. Oh. He's getting up into that shallow water. Oh yeah, this is a big fish. This is a big fish. Good Lord. This fish has got a lot of stride to it. A lot of stride. He's a big fish. This could be my biggest fish of the year right here. Big fish. I don't know if there's a drop off he can cut me off on or what. He's fixing to get into my float. That's not good. Oh shoot. Oh shoot. He's at the top of the water. Come on, don't cut me off on nothing. Don't cut me off on nothing. Big fish. Woo! Big fish. He ain't tiring out easy. Big fish. I think I'm gonna need a bigger boat. Oh man. Yep. Oh shoot. I'm gonna need a bigger boat. Man, I wish I'd brought my net. Oh Lord, have mercy. He's running me over that drop. Don't cut me off, baby. Don't cut me off. This fish ain't tiring out. He ain't tiring out at all. He's in my float. Good grief. I'm gonna need a bigger boat, people. Woo. All right. He's close. He's close. I want him good and tuckered out before I try to grab him because I ain't got my net. If this ain't my biggest one of the year, he's a feisty fish. I see him, and I don't think he's my biggest fish of the year. He was just a strong fish. It's hard to tell when they're in the water. Come on, honey. Nah, I think it's a 40 to 50. I should have brought my net. He might be my biggest. Nice fish. I don't know if he's my biggest of the year. He sure put up a fight though. Woo! Look at that. Look at that baby doll. Woo! Should have brought my net. I don't know, that fish, he might be bigger than that 45 pounder. Just a little bit. I'm gonna get a weight on him. Man, I should have brought my net. That fish was strong, man. He fought a lot harder than any other 40-pound class fish I caught this year. So I'm gonna get my net. I'm gonna weigh this fish. That's a nice fish. Uh-oh. Let's see what we got. Oh, he come off. He come off. What I'm gonna do is, instead of trying to pick all that up in the net with my thumbs, I'm gonna tie that scale to the handle of my net to make it easier to lift him up. That fish has got to be 50 pounds. Ouch. You strong fish. Ouch. Yeah. Ah. There we go. There we go. Let's see what this bad boy is. He's 51.6 in the net, so that fish is right at 50. That's my biggest fish of the year. That one actually hit 50 pounds. Uh, 50 pounds, people. 50 pounds. Gotta love it. Oh shoot, that water's kind of deep. I'm gonna just let him sit in that water a second. Usually a 40-pound fish just takes off thrashing hard. I get him in fairly quick. that fish there, he pulled hard and kept pulling and would not tire out. He's pulled out about 20 feet out in front of me. Not that far, about 10 foot. And he's in about 2 foot of water, but he's just laying on the bottom. He's breathing, he's upright, so he'll sit there and catch his breath. As long as he's holding himself perfectly right, he's good. Like I say, I've had a lot of issues with people trying to steal my spots. I had banked on this fall spot all year long, looked forward to it, and I wasn't going to move out of that spot. Well, 3 or 4 people learned about it, and I ain't been able to fish it since. So, when my camera was soaked and I couldn't use it that one weekend, I went scouting. I went scouting different lakes way away from these Knoxville boys that are trolling me. No offense to anybody, but if y'all ain't even gonna offer to let me fish my spot, knowing you in it every night, this video is to show you I don't need that spot. I'm Catfish Dave. I'll go into a new lake, I'll go into new waters I've never been, and I'm still gonna pull out good fish. You know, that's what I do. I've been doing this for too long. I've never been to this spot, but I can take one look at it and say, this is where I need to be here now, this time of year, what the weather's doing, what it's doing, with the thread fins moving in, with the skipjack moving in. This ain't my first rodeo, so y'all can have my spot. I'm gonna hit spots you ain't never seen, and I'm still gonna pull out fish. I'm Catfish Dave.